welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So today is episode 2 of Friday Sews, and I'm actually filming on Wednesday, a day earlier than initially planned, because my husband has decided to take Thursday and Friday off from work, which is really nice. So he's actually going to start building a rabbit hutch, so that's really exciting. We're going to be getting some rabbits later on this year for the boys. They're not going to have one each, we just thought maybe just have 2 so they can share. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it as well, as I really like to have pets and haven't had any since I've been with my husband. I'm usually a cat lover, but he just doesn't like cats, and he's a real bird fan, so obviously having a cat wouldn't help with having any birds in the garden. So we've actually got a really big bird aviary in the garden, and that used to be filled with birds apparently with the previous owners from this house, and they left the bird aviary here, so we're going to use that as part of the run for the rabbits, and he's going to build the hutch separately and then kind of join it on somehow, so that it's going to be a very plush sort of rabbit hutch stroke run for them. So that's really exciting, and the boys are just really excited to get some rabbits, as it's going to be their first pets. No doubt I'll end up having to clean the rabbits out, you know, but I'm hoping that they will help out initially at least. Yes, that's what he's going to be doing anyway, so I'm not going to be getting any filming done whilst he's at home. It also means that I won't have as much to show you today as I was hoping, because I will be doing a little bit of sewing this evening, just finishing off a few things that I was hoping to finish in time for this vlog, but unfortunately that's not going to happen, so hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more to show you. But I will show you what I've just finished hot off the sewing machine, and it's my Poppy Treffry Spring Embroidery Club project number 3, and it is the Busy Birds zip pouch, and I'm really pleased with how that has turned out. I'm so happy with how the birds have been stitched, because I'd sort of fallen behind a little bit, and if you don't keep up with doing like the free motion embroidery on your machine, you tend to lose the knack of it a little bit, but I really did enjoy stitching these, and I think the middle one is my favourite. I really like how I've shaded his sort of body in, I suppose. But yeah, so I've put, I think there's 7 on there in total, I think, and I just sourced the fabrics myself, so I didn't have the ones that were sent with the kit, but I did have quite a problem inserting the zip. Now, in the instructions, it did say to use a chunky plastic teeth zip, so that is what I had initially, and I'll show you, it was this one here, so you can see that it's quite a thick one, and I had the correct size, but at the bottom it's got these plastic tab bits, and sewing over those, it was fine when I was sewing this way, but then when you've obviously got the fabric and you have to fold that back, you know, to be in the zip pouch, it just, well, it snapped a needle for one, and it just looked really messy, and I just thought, oh, this isn't going to work. So I did ask on the Poppy Treffry Spring Embroidery Club Facebook page if anybody else had been, you know, used a different zip, and a few people had said that they'd changed it. So I just bought just a regular zip, and luckily, you know, the shops have reopened this week, so I went to Dunelm this morning, picked up the zip, which I needed a 40cm one, and have installed that perfectly. So I'll show you the inside. I've already filled it with some sewing goodies. Yeah, and it's just gone in really nicely, and obviously, like I said, that ticking fabric, I have got a massive roll of that, so but I think you were supposed to use black for this one, but it's navy blue, mine is. Yeah, and I'm just so pleased with how that's turned out. I'll definitely be making more in the future. Yeah, I did, when I first started off, I couldn't quite get the knack of their legs, so they're a bit weird and then this side is the ones that I sort of finished, and you can see that I kind of got the hang of it by that point, but these ones over here, their legs are going a little bit all over the place. But yeah, really happy with that. So the next project is a picture. I think it's Cornish cottage picture with a beach kind of scene, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. I probably won't have it done by next Friday, but it is going to be started, so I might be able to show you what I've done. So whilst I was in Dunelm, I just had a quick browse at the fabrics, and I don't usually buy fabrics from Dunelm because they don't really stock variations of fabric. It's just usually your bog standard cotton, but they did actually have some jersey in, and I couldn't resist buying some because it was in the sale at £5 a metre. So I bought this lovely ochre jersey with white spots on it in slightly different sizes, really lovely and soft, and there was actually only a metre left on the bolt. And so when I took it up, she said, oh, I'll just measure that for you. And it was just shy of a metre. So she only charged me for half a metre. So this metre cost me £2.50, which is going to be enough there to make another Tilly and the Buttons Agnes top. As you know, I've said I absolutely love that pattern. Now I know somebody mentioned in the comments of my last video to try out the Iris Tee, which I think is a free pattern. I can't remember who she said it was by now, but that is probably one that I will try out in the future. But as I've already got the Agnes top all cut out ready to go, I'll probably just sew a load up at the moment. And then I bought another colourway of the same fabric, and it's a lovely white with these black dots all over it. So again, I just bought a metre of that, and that was £5 a metre, because obviously that was just off the normal bolt. They had loads left of that one. So they're really good for going underneath my pinafore dresses. So as you can see, I'm still wearing my Poppy Pinafore by Jane. And I think the release date of that is either the 21st or 23rd of April. So it's round the corner, literally. So I can't wait to show you this in full. And I'm going to have another one sewn up as well in time for when that gets released. So hopefully I'll be able to do a video about it. Somebody also did ask me about the brooch that I'm wearing, and it is one that I have made myself. And it's actually out of this book here, which I've got. It's So Pretty Home Style, and the author is Tone Finnanger. I think that's how you say it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, Tone Finnanger. Now, I think she's Norwegian or German. So this book has actually been translated into English. So some of the instructions are a little bit, you know, you have to sort of have a little bit of knowledge about you to be able to make the projects. But I used the template out of this project, as you can see it's on the front here, to make this little rose, and you can make a lot bigger ones as well. And I have made some projects out of this book. It's a really, really lovely book. Now I actually had this for my 30th birthday alongside my sewing machine, because when I saw the projects in this book, it really inspired me to want to sew. So I had it from my mother-in-law, and then I had my sewing machine from money that people had gifted to me for my 30th birthday. So yeah, I did use this book. Now I have made a bag as well. As you can see here, there are some bags on the front, and it's got the rose on the front of there. So that rose was initially on this bag that I made, and it's just a cloth bag, again using some ticking fabric, and I just used material handles rather than the wooden ones that they have in the book. But yeah, I highly recommend these books. They are really, really lovely. You can make some lovely gifts from them, and I've got quite a lot of hers. I think I was buying them one after the other initially. Yeah, so that's what I did. Now I'll show you also this doll that I made out of one of the books, and she sits on the bookcase downstairs. You know, I just fold her legs over and she sits on the bookcase downstairs, and this is a Tilda doll, and you buy the hair and things. I think there's a Tilda website that you can buy the hair and things, or Pandora Hobby or something like that. I'll link details down below if you're interested in making this type of thing. It's not for everybody, and I don't make things like this really anymore, but it was just when I first got into sewing. She's very faded as well now. She's been sat in the sunshine, you know, for a number of years, way before I had my children. So, you know, Harry's 7 now. And I also made this one out of the, I think it's Crafting Springtime Gifts or Sewing Springtime Gifts, the book. So it's lovely little woolen lamb, but he's made out of a towel, basically. Now he's a bit worse for wear because this was sewn up again way before I had children, and then it was sat in Harry's room when he was a baby. So he's coming apart a little bit. I say he, it's probably she because it's a bit pink, you know, but that was really good fun to sew and really easy. And I've made these for gifts for people in the past as well. So that's out of the spring version of one of those books by the same author. But like I say, I'll link down below if you're interested in anything like that. Now, I have made a start on my Sew Over It Sylvia Robe. So I did that on my Zoom session with Angela from Devon Thread Tales. I've just got to put the neckband on it, so I have started it. It's going to be really difficult for me to show you without putting it on, but it's going to look really odd if I put it on over this. So as you can see, there's one sleeve, so I've got to hem that, and I'm really liking how it's sewing up so far. I've had to do French seams throughout because of the lightweight fabric and it being very, you know, see-through, so I have French seamed throughout. So I've just got to put the neckband on that, and that will be finished. So I'll have that to show you properly next week, but I really like how that's coming along. Now I haven't actually got a top to wear underneath it, so I will just need to buy a vest top. You yeah, to just wear underneath that, to go with jeans and that kind of thing. And then I've had some fabric delivered this week as well. So I've just had 1.5 meters of this lovely peach skin from Felicity Fabrics, and that was in their sale, I think it was, that they had recently. Yeah, and I just bought 1.5 meters of that because I'm planning to make this into the Friday Pattern Company Wilder gown, and I'll insert a photo of what that looks like if you've not seen it before. I'm just going to make the blouse version so I can wear it with jeans and trousers and that kind of thing, but it's really, really lovely quality, you know, really silky, and I love working with peach skin and cotton lawn and that kind of thing because they just behave under the sewing machine and don't shift about too much really. I also had some fabric delivered yesterday from Minerva, and I've bought 2 meters of this lovely stretch cotton. So it's a stretch cotton sateen, and I basically took inspiration from Becky from Notes of a Sewing Room. She had recently made a dress for the Frugal Frocks challenge, and it was this lovely lemon print fabric. So I've bought 2 meters of this, and I'm planning to make another New Look 6446 jumpsuit. Now myself and Angela are actually going to be doing a sew along together for this. Now it's not one that we're doing a sew along to film for people. We're going to do it together on our Zooms because Angela's been wanting to make one of these for such a long time, and she just hasn't got on very well with the fit and that kind of thing. So I've made a couple now, and I find it's fine for me, so we're going to do it together. So she's going to source some fabric, I've got mine ready to go, and we're just going to do that together. So I can help her out with getting the fit right for her. So I'll just show you the one that I made in the past, which I absolutely love, and I get so many compliments when I wear this one. So this is my version here, and this fabric was actually from the Leicester market, and it was only £6 a metre, so it cost me £12 for this fabric, and it's actually a crepe fabric which has got some wool content in it, so it's quite heavyweight, but it's got absolutely loads of drape in it, and it's just really suitable for this pattern. And I absolutely love how it looks on me. Yeah, in this fabric, it's just a really nice pattern. I love the paisley pattern that's on it. I made a size 12 with this one with no alterations. I think the only alteration I did actually have to make was at the very top of the zip at the back. I had to bring it in slightly because it was a little bit gapey, but otherwise it fits me really, really well. There is quite a lot of ease in the pattern, especially for the hip area. I think there's actually 6 inches of ease, but because obviously I'm quite hippy, that works really well for me. So I think that's one of the fitting issues that we needed to go through with Angela, because she's a lot more narrower on her bottom section than me. I think she's about a 39-inch hip, whereas I'm a 41. Well, she might even be a 37-inch hip actually. Yeah, I'm sure she won't mind me telling you because she does give her body measurements on her videos. So that's the fabrics that I've recently purchased. So I've got quite a bit of sewing that I want to get done over the next week or so. Tomorrow night I'm on a Zoom session with the Pink Ladies from Andrea at Beyond the Pink Door. So her sewing Zoom social session tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping to get an Agnes sewn up at least, because it's only on for an hour. I do sew kind of afterwards when it's finished. But another thing that I wanted to show you, which isn't sewing, but I'm actually crocheting a jumper. Now, what have I done with the pattern? Let me just grab it. It's just here, so I can show you. It's called the Granny Go Round Jumper by Iron Lamb. And it's basically the granny stitch. So if you have ever crocheted a granny square, then you will know that you basically do a cluster of 3 trebles in the UK. I think that's double crochet in US terms, I believe. And so it's just really quite a straightforward pattern. You're just doing the granny square stitch most of the time. Really bog standard sort of pattern to follow. Now, it's the first garment that I've ever crocheted for myself, and I have found that I've been getting on really well with it. So I do class myself as a confident beginner, I'd probably say, with crochet, because I only picked it up again at Christmas. I'd learnt the stitches about 10 years ago, and then I never picked it up again. So this is how I have been getting on. So this is the body of the jumper. I've still got to go a little bit further down. As you can see, the wool is still attached, so I need to still go further down until I get it to the desired length that I'd like to have it at. But I've added some lovely splash of colour. Now, the a lot of people that do crochet this jumper up, they do a colour per row, and that's a lot of sewing in of ends as you go along and at the end, you know. And so I decided to keep it more of a plain colour throughout and just add that sort of splash of colour in the middle. And I'm really pleased with that. Now I did order 4 balls of wool for each colour stripe that I chose, and the last colour was one that I actually already had, because I ordered a green, I think, and it was really, really bright. If you've seen any of this on my Instagram, you would have seen that neon green ball of wool, and it just would have thrown the colour balance all out, I think. So I went with this lilac that I already had, but that was actually a Aran weight wool rather than the double knit that I was using. So all I did was went down from a 4mm crochet hook to a 3.5, and that has stitched up perfectly fine. I don't think you can really tell the difference all that much, you know, maybe slightly because it is a thicker wool, but yeah, if I'd have used the 4mm crochet hook, then you would have, I think, seen a bit more of a difference. So I'm really happy with how that's coming along. I've still obviously got the sleeves to do, so I'm going to have that as full length sleeves, and I'll just be able to wear that on the cooler days that we have in the UK during the summer, and you know, in the winter obviously that will be worn quite a lot. So I'm really excited for that. Now I've made the size small. I think it is a bit snugger than it's supposed to be, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm sure it will be absolutely fine. So I think that's everything that I've got to share with you today. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more to share with you next week, so I want to finish off those pyjamas for my boys. I think I've only got one sewn up, sort of nearly finished at the moment, which was what I showed you last week, so I will hopefully get that one finished and then start on the next one and finish my Sylvia robe. Yeah, and just anything else really that I get sewn up during the week, I'll just share with you next week. Now the other thing I did quickly just want to share with you before I leave you is that if any of you were watching my Vlogmas that I did last year, back end of last year in December, I was just filming weekly just to show you what I was getting up to sort of on a daily basis really, but I did share a little bit of footage of my husband building the tree house that he was building for the boys in the garden. And when the boys first went back to school at the beginning of March, I did actually film a little bit of the treehouse because he's now completed it, and it's just absolutely amazing what he's done. He's built it purely by himself, and he's sourced all the materials himself, and he's also sort of just designed it from his head, and it's just absolutely amazing. And if he'd have bought this from somewhere, it would have cost an absolute bomb. So the fact that he was able to source the materials himself and do this all by himself has just been absolutely amazing. And the boys don't realise how lucky they are, because it's like having basically a park in our garden. You know, when I was a kid, we had a garden the size of a postage stamp. So we've got a lovely massive garden now, and he's made this. And so I did film this footage, like I say, at the beginning of March, so I thought I would quickly just share with you how he's got on with it, because it's just absolutely amazing. Hi everyone, so it's Tuesday the 9th of March, the second day that the boys have been back at school. It's a glorious day. I've had a really nice walk with my friend this morning, a nice 6-mile walk around Bradgate again, really nice. So I thought, I'm just about to go and pick the boys up from school, so I thought I would just give you a quick scan of the tree house, because it's all finished now and it's looking really good. They are such lucky boys, I have to say. My husband is so talented. So I'm going to switch the camera around, take you up the garden just so you can see the tree house finished. Right, so off we go. We've actually, I have to say, moved our sandpit for the boys and just added a bit more gravel down. This is temporary because we will have a proper patio eventually. You know, lots of renovation work needs to be done in our house. Anyway, I'm going to take you up the garden. So this is where the sandpit used to be, and they're going to have some bunnies or guinea pigs in there, and my husband's going to build some kind of hutch, etc., a little run area in there. We're going to close it off and then have a little door going in, so you'll see that in the future. Right, so just go up. So there's their swings. Look, it's like a little park in here. They don't know how lucky they are, I tell you. So I'll go this way. It's a bit more shaded. Down my lovely little path. Right, so this is the massive slide. Look at that. I'm going to have to go round because it's really bright. So you can see they've got little steps at the bottom, and then this wood chipping down, and a few of their toys, and then they get into it that way. And then I'm going to go around this way and see if I can show you. So there's the massive slide, and it takes adult weight as well. Ha, yay! And then this side, look, they can go up there, up into the lovely little treehouse section. This is what we already had, which was the pirate ship. It's a little bit rickety now, it's not going to last. So this one my husband has really made, built to last really. I'm going to come round a bit more. We've planted some plants, so they should get some nice leaves on eventually. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because of the sun. But yeah, there's like, he's designed a face on the front of it. But yeah, it's really, really good. And he's put these ropes on. I don't want to stand on this mud because he's going to tell me off because he's raked it. I'm going to jump. So yeah, you can go up there. Should I go up? Should I go up? Let's try it. I'm going up. If the neighbours could see me now. I'm climbing up. And then inside, that's their little bench that they can sit on and have their sandwiches in the summer. Little window. 2 windows out that way. Hello next door. And then the slide. Should we go down the slide? Let's go down the slide. Oh, you're coming down with me. Whee! So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that little look into what he's made and our lovely garden. It's looking a lot more full of flowers now, our garden, and it's just, you know, really sprung into life with the spring flowers coming out, and in the summer it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's all down to my husband's work in the garden. When we first moved in, it was so overgrown. It was, I can't even tell you how bad it actually was. I mean, the garden has been fully transformed, and the house is now what needs to be done next. It's a 1930s house and it needs so much work doing to it. We wouldn't have been able to have afforded to live here if it was fully done. You know, so that is how we've afforded to live in this house. So yeah, we've got lots and lots of work to do to it. So it's just going to be an ongoing project, I think, for quite a long time. But we've not started doing anything to the house yet because we've been put back a year because of the pandemic. So we're just hoping to get that started next year when hopefully things have settled down a little bit more. It's livable, it's just not ideal. And yeah, there's quite a lot that needs doing. So yeah, I just thought I'd share with you our garden. But yeah, it was really, really, really overgrown, really bad. I can't explain to you how bad it was. There was over 100 trips to the tip, let's just put it that way, and that's not even, you know, a lie. It's over 100 trips to the tip. Anyway, stop waffling, Karen. Hope you've really enjoyed today's video, and I shall see you again next Friday for more Friday sews of what I've been getting up to over the next week. Thanks a lot. See you then. Bye.